If you're good at Chimps mode in BTD6, you can show off which towers and strategies are very resourceful and extremely strong in Chimps mode by getting a lot of cash spare. Like this, for example, this is a great combination with the Gwendolyn and Iron getting 65,000 cash spare on Workshop Chimps. So if you can pull this stuff off on Expert Chimps, it's pretty good. Now, what if we go to something like Dark Dungeons Chimps, which is definitely one of the hardest maps out there in the game. And let's say I want to beat this with a lot of cash spare, pretty good amount, more than would be typical. This map is very hard because there's so many lanes, and a lot of these balloon lanes are going to eat up a lot of cash, and sometimes it's hard to win. So what if I say I want to win with 110,000 cash spare? This, for reference, is enough to straight up buy a Ray of Doom and still have a bunch of change over at the end completely left over. If that isn't very convincing, you could also buy 29 sharpshooters and 1 crossbow with the same amount of cash, if that's really going to be something that you want to purchase in Chimps mode. So let's get right into this run. I don't have any of the early game recorded because I did this off camera. It was a lot of trial and error trying to get some stuff, but we're using the Arctic Knight, which is just insanely powerful on very specific maps. And for some reason, they buffed it this update, even though it's already insanely powerful on a niche set of maps. So if you can see here, these things just bounce around everywhere and are very powerful. And I'm going to be beating Chimps mode with just Geraldo and practically 3 of these guys, which is going to be very insane. They are very busted, but pulling off this run was still extremely difficult and took me nearly 4 hours to do, even with knowing a bunch of tricks and having a preset plan kind of already built out by a piece of card, which I think is his name, on Discord. He kind of did a run with this earlier that got 96,000 cash spare, and I thought it definitely could be optimized. There were some kind of small mistakes and unoptimized plays. It was still a very, very good run. 96,000 cash spare is definitely a lot, but I thought it could be improved a bit. And when I say a bit, I thought like maybe $5,000 more. I was expecting to get 100,000 cash spare this run, but getting 110,000 at the end was definitely a very, very nice surprise, which was really cool. So I'm going to be playing this early game very greedy. That's why I didn't really record it, because it took a very long time and I was going all over the place. It would not have been fun to edit that either. So from there, I get away with just like a few shooty turrets. That one shooty turret at the top isn't wasteful because that's going to be used to pop zebras and white balloons later on. And then I'm going to have the juggernauts on each side. I have the juggernaut on the bottom for the rightmost lane. Yes, that's the rightmost lane. That's just a more efficient spot. It beats the balloons a lot easier compared to having Juggernaut on the top, which is a lot less efficient. I get Juggernaut on the top for the middle just because I need it there to be able to pop down the zebras. So that's kind of just where it's going to be. It's going to have that job as popping the zebras that all the Arctic Knights leave behind. And then the Juggernaut on the leftmost side, it's a lot more optimal on the bottom compartment, but I need to have it on the top compartment because it's also going to be popping down all the zebras and white balloons that the Arctic Knights leave behind. And I'm going to be getting 3 in total, 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom. I'm going to be getting this one on the bottom because it's a lot more efficient against round 100, although my round 100 didn't quite go to plan. That is one of the few things you can optimize here, is that Arctic Knight actually can go on the top side and get in range of the discount, which is something that would save a little bit of money. Also, if you're absolutely insane, you could probably greed out and save a little bit on like 2 road spikes and one glue, which would be kind of insane if you do that. I did not have the patience to do that. So it could be, you could save like maybe $600-700 ish, I don't know, something like that. But I'm not redoing this to get 111,000 cash spare. So this is not truly optimal, but it's very, very close to being optimal, which is pretty cool. But when you're using Geraldo, it's like you can't really truly be optimal because it's always possible to squeeze out like that one extra item in one crazy circumstance. So another thing that I do in order to beat a lot of these balloon waves, because the one Juggernaut can't take it out on like each side a lot of the times, I just use the mermonkeys and target them like into the little wall separations, and they kind of shoot some of the balls into the other side, and that's able to take it down, which is pretty cool. And then I'm going to be doing a lot of stalling with the Moab Shove. The Moab Shove is also going to be kind of necessary for some DDT rounds too, which is a pretty big deal, but I'm going to have to stall abilities back up, which makes the hardest round in this entire run kind of surprising. It was, if you guessed round 92, then you would be right, because that is actually the hardest round in the run. I'll kind of describe why that is when it comes up, but I think I'm gonna just play some music and let a lot of this mid-game play through. This is gonna be a bit of a longer video. I don't know if I really wanted to like shorten it down, but it is a very cool run, so I'll just let a lot of it play out and we'll be back later on. Oh, I guess one thing before I describe it, because I do place those shooty turrets down though, I'm going to be getting a bunch of shooty turrets up there, and those, as I said, are going to be popping down a lot of the zebras. Just a few of them. In a piece of cards round, you got a lot more. I thought you didn't really need that many, so I just got a lot less. Anyways, I'll be back later on. See ya. So I'm coming back into the 90s what I really noticed is that it's hard to stall ZOMGs, which made me scared about round 92 a lot actually, because 92 has a long chain of Moabs. I need all 3 Arctic Knight abilities to be able to take that out, and then I have 2 ZOMGs at the end, and I need abilities back for 93, but the big issue is that I can't really stall that last ZOMG and get 3 abilities back. So I tried for a very long time to be able to get it so I can get like 1 ability back, but it just wasn't working. A lot of the times, like with these Moabs and BFBs, it's very easy to stall. I just put the shove back there in that one compartment. No balls will go into that one because I kind of set them to be a little bit more over to the other side, so they kind of fly into the other side, and then I can just stall out the round like that. Super easy. I got all my abilities back. 92, I actually did that off camera, so unfortunately you don't get to see it, which kind of sucks, I guess. That one just took so long. I turned the recording off, and I got it while I was not recording. But we took that down, and the big scary thing is I only had 1 ability left. I just couldn't do it without getting more, so it took me a long time, but I was able to pass by 93, luckily, even with that delay. 94 was super easy. I didn't care about abilities because 95 was coming up next, and I'd get my abilities back up. 95 also took a little bit of time. I used 2 spikes here and 1 glue. It would technically be possible to save a spike here, but that is just an amount of RNG I am not playing with, and I am able to take that down by timing very greedily. It was actually pretty difficult getting all 3 abilities off without leaking a DDT. So we take that down just fine, and then 96 was a little bit of a struggle, not like the craziest thing though. I'm gonna be honest. Luckily I didn't have to stall this again, because 97, going into 97, I don't need all my abilities up, so I can just knock all that out really easily. The 97 also took a bit of time. I wanted like abilities to be like kind of close up. I feel like for 98 I don't really need it that much because it's a slow round and I want to wait to use my abilities to the end, but this actually proved to be a bit of a mistake-ish because I kind of needed my abilities up faster on 98 than I predicted, so I kind of just bashed it open and I'm like, okay, let's go here. But 98 was definitely very close. Luckily I was able to get it. This was a round that I'm going to use a rejuve, because as you notice I'm not using a lot of Geraldo items. It's like almost why am I bringing Geraldo items, but this rejuve on 98 is going to come in clutch here, and plus the Geraldo glue and the Geraldo spikes, even though I use very few of them, are like pretty mandatory to be able to take out those other lanes for cheap. And overall this rejuve is a lot cheaper than a Moab glue, which would be like needed if I'm doing another hero. It is possible that Oben or Sai could do it cheaper, but I don't really know about that. I'd have to test it and all, and I kind of don't really want to do that. But other ways, Geraldo still gets really cheap because the Arctic Knights do everything besides the few little things that they can't do when Geraldo comes and takes that out for a very good price actually. So 99, that one also took, it didn't take very long. 98 was pretty satisfying though, and 100 we do need another rejuve. This was very close to being able to beat it without a rejuve, but unfortunately it just couldn't really take it down. So we take that out and win with 110,000 cash spare, which is absolutely insane. It's just an insane strategy. Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye!